All right, I'm back with another video, more information, news, and commentary you can use. Welcome to the channel. I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, and I want to say good morning and thank you so much for your support. Listen, if you are not a subscriber to the channel, I would like to invite you to subscribe. That way you can stay informed, updated, connected, and join our community right here. We are a community of citizens who we're concerned about the times we're living in. We want to know, okay, what's really going on? You know, it's a lot of information being pushed out to us nowadays. Sometimes it's kind of hard to determine, okay, like what is it that they really want us to know about? Like what's really going on, right? So this is where we talk about things right here on the channel. So please make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, make sure you hit all notifications button so that whenever I do go live or upload new content each week, you'll be notified. So again, good morning, good morning. Listen, you all have heard me talk about this topic right here on the channel. Actually, I go live right here on Andrea Speaks TV every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Now, today is Thursday, and I already have a previously scheduled commitment for tonight. So this video will actually take place of tonight's live. So today's topic, you all know I've talked about this right here on the channel. A topic I've been wanting to speak on, the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis. So I want to bring you all some updates, some details on exactly how the city of Jackson, Mississippi got to the point where they are now. Give you some updates, what, caused this. I was actually surprised to learn that this is the first time, this is not the first time that a water crisis has actually happened in Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm going to talk about that. And also why, for all of us, I feel like this should be a wake-up call, for us to look at and say, hey, what can we do as much as possible to prepare in the event something like this were to happen in our local areas, right? Okay, so I'm going to be referencing a news article. I also took some notes from a video interview that I watched. So I want to go ahead and get into it. Okay, y'all. So the first article that I do want to reference comes from ABC News. Okay, it comes from ABC News. And the title of the article says, a set, and I quote, a set of accumulated problems, okay, why Jackson, Mississippi is facing a water crisis. So actually, before I start, before I go over some information in the article, I just want to read to you very quickly some notes, a few notes that I took. So let's talk about Jackson, right? Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, okay, is actually, here's some facts. Jackson is actually the largest city, okay, in Mississippi, and it is the capital, okay? Jackson is the capital of Mississippi, okay? And I also learned that Jackson is 80% black, okay? So 80% of the people who live in the city of Jackson, Mississippi are black, okay? I'll tell you why that's significant in just a moment as I cover the information, okay? All right, so getting into the Jackson water crisis, okay? First of all, in the chat, let me know, yes or no, do you currently know about what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi? Okay, well, if you don't know what's going on, let me give you some background information. Now, okay, again, the title of the article, it says, and I quote, a set of accumulated problems why Jackson, Mississippi is facing a water crisis. Now, this article was first published by ABC News back on September 1st, 2022, which was just a few days ago, right? Today is September the 8th, okay? So a week ago. The article says, residents of Jackson, Mississippi are facing a clean water shortage. Now think about this, y'all. Residents of Jackson, Mississippi are facing a clean water shortage days after Governor Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi, announced a major pump. Okay, here's what allegedly caused the current water crisis that Jackson, Mississippi is facing. All right. Days after, the article says, Governor Tate Reeves announced a major pump at the city's main water treatment facility was damaged, okay? The city's mayor says the current water crisis is a result, of years-long issues. Now, here's what I found interesting as I did more and more research, right? And I'm going to talk about this in some of the notes that I took. So the governor, okay, according to ABC News, the governor is saying that this problem is caused by years-long issues. Well, I found that, and you let me know if you heard this or know about this as well. It seems like there's a lot of finger pointing, okay? The local government, the city government of Jackson, Mississippi, they're alleging, whether it was, they felt ignored by the state government, or I'll talk about a few other, points that were brought up. But it's like, there's a lot of finger pointing. Well, no, this group or this organization, this government department should have done this. No, you all should have done this, and then it wouldn't have been like this. A lot of finger pointing, okay? So I'll cover that more in just a moment, okay? According to the article, the damage to the O.B. Curtis water treatment plant, okay, that's the name of their treatment plant there. The damage, the article says, happened after the city experienced a high level of flooding due to heavy rainfall over the last week, leaving the city without enough safe water for people to use. Okay, so allegedly what caused this most current water crisis, according to the article, they're saying that the city of Jackson experienced a lot of flooding, a high level of flooding to be exact, due to heavy rainfall over the last week. Okay, so y'all think about it. There, I know in my area, there was a time period where it wasn't really a lot of rain. And then now, more recently, I'm starting to see more rain. And as I did my research, I found that there are a lot of areas here in the U.S. that are currently like that. Like it might have been, we know some areas are facing drought. And we know that some of the weather incidents that we're seeing and hearing about, we know that there are some people who would say, hey, climate change caused this. We've talked about climate change several times here on the channel. So, of course, you're going to have people say, hey, look, climate change is causing all of this. See why we need to take action against, what's going on? That's a whole nother conversation, right? We talked about that. But, again, several areas, okay, in addition to Jackson, Mississippi, have experienced heavy rainfall, whether it was over the last week, last few months, okay? All right. Again, the article says it left the city of Jackson without enough safe water for people to use. Now, think about this, y'all. I've talked about this several times on the channel, how we need to all make sure that, especially not only for our daily use, right, but especially in our emergency food supply, our survival needs, we need to make sure that we add water, okay? I know we always think about food, like that's our automatic thing, right? Gotta have food, but don't forget, make sure you add water to your emergency food supply. Of course, we need water for daily use, right? Whether we're taking a shower, cooking, cleaning, whatever it is that we need to do, water is essential, okay? Water is essential. So please, please, please make sure that you are adding water to your emergency food supply, okay? All right, the article continues by saying that the damaged facility resulted in a total loss or near total loss of water pressure throughout Jackson and other areas in the Hinds County area that receive water from the plant, all right? A new pump, the article says, arrived and was installed at the facility on Wednesday. The Jackson mayor, Lumumba, said. But Reeves, okay, remember Reeves is the governor, said that on the same day that there is a tremendous amount of work to be done on the plant, and the boil water notice in the city will continue until further notice, okay? Record flooding, the article says, over the weekend caused water to fill up at the Barnett Reservoir in central Mississippi. Flooding crested on Monday, the article says, when water levels were measured at a peak of 35.37 feet, just below the major flood stage of 36 feet. Very, very close, right? Very close in numbers. Water levels, the article says, above 28 feet are considered flood stage. Okay, the water has since been receding, meaning going down. All right. On Monday, Reeves, the governor, said the city is using backup pumps But until the problem is fixed, residents will not have reliable running water, and the city will not be able to produce enough water for serious needs. Think about that, y'all. Okay, including fighting fires. Okay, so not only are the people, in their everyday household needs, not only are they using water for that, things that they have to do in their home, maybe outside of their home, but you got to think the city itself. Okay, the city itself, at the current time, it says will not be able to produce enough water for serious needs, okay? Such as, in the article gives examples, fighting fires. Okay, think about this, y'all. Fighting fires and flushing toilets, the article says. Now, a second water treatment facility, JH Fewell, is also experiencing an insufficient number of certified operators. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. According to the Mississippi Department of Health's emergency order. Okay, now according to the mayor, according to Mayor Lumumba, the city has been experiencing, and I quote, a constant state of emergency. Listen to this, y'all. The city, he says, has been experiencing, and I quote, a constant state of emergency for the last 2 years when it comes to its water supply. Even when there isn't low water pressure or the city has not issued a boil water notice, the crisis continues, he said during a press briefing Tuesday. Now, all of this took place last week, okay, so not this current week. Okay, he also was quoted as saying, I have said on multiple occasions that it's not a matter of if our system would fail, but a matter of when our system will fail. So it sounds like, based on that information, what I just read, that the local government, okay, the mayor, city officials, they recognized that there was a problem. But the question is, why wasn't anything done about it? And like I said, that's where the finger pointing starts to come into play, okay? Let's see. Okay, staffing shortages. The article says staffing shortages, system issues, and numerous equipment failures have all contributed to the overall failure of the water plant, okay? The mayor was also quoted saying this is a set of accumulated problems based on deferred maintenance that has not taken place over decades. Okay, now in an interview on ABC News Live on Tuesday, Mayor Lumumba said that the current crisis stems from up to 30 years, y'all, 30 years of deferred maintenance and a lack of capital improvements to the system. Listen to this, y'all. Okay, he was also quoted as saying, we've had hot summers, cold winters, and more precipitation each year. Okay. What does that sound like? Some people say, what? See, climate change? Keep listening, y'all. We've had, the mayor was quoted as saying, we've had hot summers, cold winters, and more precipitation each year, and it's taking a toll on our infrastructure. Okay. He was also quoted as saying, and so we need the support to not only create sustainability and equity in our system, but to also weatherize our system. Okay. Article continues by saying the current crisis happened because the facility was receiving flood water that changed the overall composition of the water, making it difficult to treat and potentially dangerous, he said. The plant therefore needed more time to treat the water, which is why residents were experiencing little water pressure and less water supply. Okay, officials are flushing bad water out of the system and attempting to do critical maintenance and emergency repairs. But Reeves, Reeves again is the governor of Mississippi. Reeves warned Wednesday that there will be future interruptions, saying they are unavoidable at this point. What do y'all think about this information? A chemical imbalance, the article says, at the plant on Wednesday also forced officials to shut down part of the plant. While there were some improvements made, the plant, the article says, is still facing an electrical and mechanical problem. Jim Craig, the director of health protection at the state's Department of Health, said on Wednesday. Now, sludge, the article says, at the bottom of the water basins at the plant is also a huge issue. And that again was said by Craig. Now, according to the mayor, according to Mayor Lumumba, the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, to solve the ongoing crisis, he says it would cost billions of dollars. Okay, to solve the ongoing crisis, Lumumba said that it could cost billions of dollars, and I quote, far beyond the city's reach, okay, to fix or replace the water plant. The city has put in millions of dollars already towards the system, he said, but it will likely fall short, okay? He was also quoted saying that the residents of Jackson are worthy, okay? They are worthy of a dependable system, and we look forward to a coalition of the willing that will join us in the fight to improve this system that has been failing for decades, okay? Again, that was a quote by Mayor Lumumba on Tuesday. Now, Governor Reeves of Mississippi, has declared a state of emergency and even activated the National Guard. All right, there are pictures, and you can do your research on this as well, but there are pictures where the National Guard has been brought in to Jackson, and they're actually passing out packs of water, 1 to 2 packs, I believe. I saw some of my research, 1 to 2 packs of water per car, and even in some instances, y'all, there have been reports where people have waited hours in line to receive water, and for whatever reason, maybe they ran out, I'm not sure, they ended up, even though they waited for hours, they left with nothing. And I just think that's, just a terrible thing. Actually, I know I've said this before in mentioning the topic, but I was saying that, I wish it was something that I could do, because I know how essential water is, and I don't live in the state of Mississippi. However, in my local area, there is a church organization who I found out they're actually going to collect donations of water to send to Jackson, Mississippi, to help the residents there. And so my family and I, we decided to participate in that by donating water. So I'm very thankful that even though I'm not there physically, that I still have a way that I can help the people of Jackson, Mississippi. So we'll be donating water. That's going to be, we'll be donating water to the church organization, and the church is going to ship the water to help the people of Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm very thankful to be able to help in that way. Okay. Now, so again, Governor Reeves, he's declared a state of emergency, activated the National Guard. The state has set up water distribution sites, as I just shared, to hand out drinkable and non-drinkable water to residents in the meantime. Okay. Opening up 7 new sites on Thursday, the article says. Now, Reeves has also, the article ends by saying that Governor Reeves also requested an emergency federal declaration for the water crisis, which was approved by our current president. Okay, and we know whenever that takes place, that opens up the opportunity and possibility for additional funds to be sent to help. Okay, a couple of other things that I wanted to mention in my research. Okay, surely if you all have some information and news to share about this, I do know that I have supporters from all across the country, as well as other countries. So if you have any insight on this, please make sure you post it in the comments so that we can all read it. Others can comment, I can comment, and we can share the information. Okay. Couple of things that I wanted to mention. You all know that I shared that in my research, I learned that this is not the first time a crisis such as this has happened in Jackson, Mississippi. I was able to watch an ABC News interview with Jackson City Council member Aaron Banks, who represents Ward 6 in Jackson, Mississippi. Here's a couple of pieces of information that he shared that I thought was worth mentioning here on the video. Again, he said this is not the first time a crisis such as this has happened. He did reference February of last year, so that would have been February 2021. And he said, and I quote, that there were freezing temperatures that Jackson, the city of Jackson experienced. He said that, they're just not used to those freezing temperatures there. And just as I shared earlier, it was also mentioned in this article that the city of Jackson was trying to winterize. They were trying to winterize the treatment facility as well as upgrade the infrastructure. Okay, so according to him, they were already, prior to this current crisis, they were already working on fixing, some of the problems that they were having at this particular treatment facility. Okay. City Council member Aaron Banks, he also mentioned short staffing. Okay, I just referenced that in the article. He mentioned short staffing, saying that they could not afford to pay a competitive pay. Okay, so, think about the time that we're currently living in, y'all. Now, I don't know. Sounds like maybe the city of Jackson, they have a very limited budget they're operating. It sounds like now, just based on what I've read, it sounds like that they may have a limited budget to operate with compared to, all of the necessary expenses that they really need to pay for in order to truly provide solutions for this. But he did say that they can't afford to pay a competitive pay. Okay. He did mention that. Now he said, and I also referenced in the article, that the state government is coming in to help. We see that the federal government is also offering assistance by the emergency federal declaration that was approved by President Biden. He also mentioned City Council member Banks also stated that this current crisis could continue for another week due to heavy rain. They are giving out 1 to 2 packs of water per vehicle. And he also stated that Jackson citizens are resilient and they have gotten used to this. Now, here's where I have a concern, okay? And I want to talk about this. The fact that, he stated, he himself is a citizen of Jackson, Mississippi. So when he said this, he's actually talking about himself as well. I think he referenced having to drive, a distance to, get access to clean water at another family member's house. So as he talks about these things, the current crisis that's going on in Jackson, Mississippi, he's also including himself in that crisis as well, being that he lives there. And so, the fact that even the article says, this goes back to 30 years worth of, 30 years worth of deferred maintenance, lack of capital improvements, everyone, okay, I feel like everyone, every single person, every single human being deserves access to clean water, right? So I don't think that I feel like it's unacceptable for the residents of Jackson, Mississippi. I'm talking about specifically about Jackson, Mississippi, because this is where this current crisis is happening, and this is the topic of the video. I think it's unacceptable that they have to feel like, well, this has been going on now for, a very long time. We might as well get used to it. That's unacceptable, right? Do you feel that way? Now, I want to also bring up, because I did see this mentioned, I shared earlier that it was also referenced in an ABC News interview that 80% of the residents in Jackson, Mississippi are Black. There are also growing concerns that I'm reading, that everything that we're seeing now with the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, are a result of, some are claiming this is a result of environmental injustice. This is something that was intentionally done, intentionally neglected over the years. And we do know, history does show us, there are documented incidents of this where, in Black communities throughout the United States, we know that there have been problems with, I'm specifically mentioning Black communities, there have been problems with lead pipes, lead being in water in certain communities. All these things are documented. You can go and do your research. Maybe you can find stories. Maybe you want to share stories right here in the comments where there have been concerns about the water in the Black communities, lead pipes, lead in the drinking water. There have also been concerns about other incidents outside of water, whether it's recycling plants, industrial facilities being built in Black communities where for example, maybe they're causing pollution, which could lead to other serious health concerns. All of these things have been happening. So, the fact that there are, some people who are claiming this is a result of environmental injustice against the Black community, It's not surprising to me because we know that there are documented incidents in history that have shown that this is happening, has happened, and is still happening to this current day. And so I want to encourage you to do your research on that, see what I'm talking about. A couple of other things that I noted, as solutions. Okay, so here's where you and I, this is why I say this should be a wake-up call to you and I. Okay, and let me know how you feel about this. So I wrote down 3 solutions. Okay, 3 reasons why this should be a wake-up call to us, a call to action. Okay, for you and I, we need to make sure, as I have said many times, and I'm going to say it again, we need to make sure that we keep enough water, okay, in our emergency food supply. Based on you and your family, how much water you feel like you need, okay? I'm not going to say that a certain amount of water is too much, because there are a lot of things that we use water for. We need water for our daily lives, okay? Water is essential to life. So please make sure, if you have not already, okay, make sure you have enough water in your emergency food supply, okay? Also, a reason why this should be a wake-up call, this current water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, why it should be a wake-up call for you and I, we need to think about, okay, and be prepared for a crisis such as this. Now, again, we're talking about Jackson, Mississippi, but unless you're completely living off grid, where you don't use public water or things of that nature, then you need to say, okay, could a crisis like this happen in my local area or your local area? Now, where I am, in the past, I know that there have been concerns about our water system, especially in heavy rains. Okay, there are times when, and I'm seeing this also in other parts of the country, where when it rains, the roads are flooded. The systems are backed up, and they're saying, oh, because of debris, it's clogging up the drains, and the water is not able to properly flow. It's causing everything, the drains to be backed up. It just creates a mess. So it definitely should be a wake-up call, especially if you're having those type of problems in your local area. Remember, this doesn't have to be like a national event or national emergency or national tragedy. This could be something that could happen locally in your area. Something that can happen locally. So you may even want to research and see what your local government, what their plans are. Do they have problems with their water treatment, their water system? And if so, we need to think about, okay, what are some ways that we can be prepared in the event this type of crisis happens? Now, here are some suggestions. Having multiple ways to sustain, just some things that I jotted down. Do you have a way to clean or filter your water? My family and I, we do have a water filtration system. I'll share some information on that. You all know I have my website, Prepare With, or if you don't know, I do have a website, preparewithandrea.com. You can just go to my website. When you go there, if you click the, you'll see my face and everything come up. I have the emergency food supply as well as survival needs. So if you click the logo that says My Patriot Supply, then you can see all the other emergency survival needs. You can see those items. And there is an Alexa Pure water filtration system, but I'll cover that more in another video. But I just want to give you that idea, something to think about. Do you have a way to clean and filter your water? With water filtration systems, water filters, let's say, for example, you don't have clean running water, right? You may be able to go outside and just get water from, if you live close to like a pond or an outside water source, you're supposed to be able to take that water, run it through your water filtration system, and it's going to clean your water and make it clean, removing all those bacteria. I know the one, there are others, like, there's another one that's popular is the Berkey filtration system you can do. I encourage you to do your research on this, but you know, there are others out there. Alexa Pure is the one we have. They have a Berkey filtration system, but it's supposed to, I know Alexa Pure, um, it's supposed to remove over 200, you know, contaminants, things of that nature. But I'll provide you all with more information about that, okay, as well as a link. So think about ways to clean and filter your water, okay. How are you going to be able to use the restroom, okay, without running water? For example, I told you all that one way you can do, even if you have a power outage situation for an extended period of time, you know, everyone, it's natural, right? We all got to use the restroom every day. So one thing you can do is take a trash bag, okay, and put kitty litter in it. You could take the trash bag, put it over your toilet, put kitty litter in it, and that's the way that you can create a restroom. Now, by no means is this the only way, okay? I'm just giving suggestions. There are multiple ways, but I want you to do your research, okay? I'm just giving some suggestions. But think about, you know, using the restroom without running water. How are you going to shower? Okay, one thing that we also have is it's like a solar, like camping shower. It's like in a black bag. Okay, you can just put water in it. You can put it outside. The sun is going to heat the bag, and then it has like a little pipe, and you can the water will flow from that, and that creates a solar shower. Okay, so think about, do you have a way to shower when you don't have access to clean running water? Okay, also, how are you going to clean your body, clean yourself, and your home? How do you keep your home clean without running water as well? Okay, like if you need to clean up something, or, you know, sanitize the counters, you know, things like that. When you don't have running water, okay, in the event of some type of emergency, if you don't have running water, you know, things can start to smell and just, you know, kind of feel unclean very quickly, right? So think about all the ways that you can think about or research all the ways that you can sustain through a type of crisis such as this, okay? Also, the third thing that I want to mention in closing, we have to hold our, now this is for you and I, no matter where we live, right? We all have a local city government, okay? We have to, not only locally, but state as well as federal, right? We have our governments. The third thing I wrote down is that we have to hold our elected officials accountable to make and implement real solutions to improve the communities in which these elected officials serve. You know, it was referenced in the article. They talked about Governor Reeves. It was also mentioned the mayor of Mississippi, Mayor Lumumba, Mayor Lumumba, as well as the Jackson City Council member Aaron Banks. So, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't know about them at all, what they stand for, what their policies are, but even on a local level, right, we got to look at, especially in times of crisis, how, you know, the people that we elect, they're to serve for the best interests of the people, right? That's why they are elected, because they are to serve and put the communities first in which they are elected to serve. And so if, like, let's say, for example, with Jackson, Mississippi, right, because that's who we're talking to, if these people, the elected officials, are not creating policies or operating within their budget, or if they don't have the budget for whatever reason, if they're not seeking the necessary capital to make improvements to the system, then what are they really doing? If they are misappropriating funds or misusing funds that should go towards improving the infrastructure of Jackson, Mississippi, if they're not doing that, then what are they doing? You know, we can apply this on many different levels, even in our local governments where we live, on a state level or even on a federal level. So think about that. Are you holding, okay, for those of us who are voting, who choose to vote, are we holding our elected officials accountable to make decision and improvements in the best interest. Real solutions now to make improvements to help, real solutions to help the people in the communities that they serve. Think about that. Think about that. So I am praying for the people of Jackson, Mississippi. I do want to encourage you, if you are able to, donate. Now, we know that anytime it's something like this going on, there are people, unfortunately, who have bad intentions and they try to scam people. So, if you are able to find a local organization who is willing, like the church organization I mentioned, who's willing to, they're collecting packs of water to send to Jackson, Mississippi. I would definitely encourage you to do that if you're able to. If you're able to do that, I'm certainly going to do that, my family and I. But again, we need to look at what's going on and let this be a wake-up call, even for our local area. Are we prepared? Do we have the things that we're needing and that we need to sustain and survive in the event of a crisis such as this in our local area? Okay. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this coverage of the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis and why this should all be a wake-up call. Why this should be a wake-up call for us all. Okay. Again, I'm Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV. I want to say thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, y'all, there's so much going on. So much going on. Every day, it seems like every hour something new is happening, right? Make sure if you're not subscribed that you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Hit all notifications. That way, whenever I do upload new videos, new content every week, you'll be notified, okay? Thank you all so much. I'll be back soon with more news and commentary you can use. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day.